Welcome to another episode of Filmmaking Insights from 4D Legacy Studios. We are really excited you're here today, because we're diving deep into a conversation that's honest, a little raw, but also filled with hope, the real state of independent filmmaking. Especially micro-budget films. Not just here in the US, but around the world. We're going to talk about what's really happening, the challenges, the dreams, and the quiet revolutions that are reshaping the indie film world right under our feet. Because right now, more than ever, independent filmmakers are standing at a crossroads. And the truth is, it's not an easy road. But it's still a road worth traveling. Let's be real, independent filmmaking has always been a leap of faith. But today, it's harder than it's ever been. Studies show only about 3 to 10% of indie films ever turn a real profit. 90% either lose money or barely break even. Imagine putting your heart, soul, and savings into a project, only to watch it vanish into the noise. Compared to major studios, where about half of their films make money, the risk indie filmmakers take is absolutely staggering. And yet, every year, thousands still step into the ring. Because storytelling, real storytelling, matters that much. Micro-budget films, the ones made for under $100,000, might sound like they should have an edge. Less money on the line should mean less to lose, right? But the reality is tougher. With a small budget, you're not just making sacrifices on equipment or locations. You're sacrificing reach. Without a real marketing push, even the most beautiful, heartfelt indie film can get lost in the storm. Most of these films depend on film festivals to find an audience, but even festivals are overwhelmed now. Thousands of submissions, only a handful selected. And even if you do get in, that's just the beginning of a very long, uncertain road. The brutal truth is, very few micro-budget films ever make their money back. And that leads to the next painful reality. Most indie production companies don't survive. A filmmaker might scrape together enough for one film, maybe two. But if those projects don't find financial success, or enough momentum to open new doors, the well runs dry. Dreams are shelved. Energy fades. And yet, some still endure. Because there are sparks of hope. Look at companies like Bluehouse Productions. They've shown that if you're smart, if you keep budgets controlled, if you stay creative about how you market and distribute, you can build something sustainable. They proved that it's possible to survive, even thrive, by balancing modest projects with the occasional breakout. It's not easy. It's rare. But it's real. And it shows that survival in indie filmmaking isn't just about talent. It's about adaptability, grit, and an almost stubborn belief in what you're creating. Today, getting a film financed is like building a house with 1,000 different pieces. There's no single answer. You pull from government grants if you're lucky. You launch crowdfunding campaigns, hoping to find that tribe of people who believe in your vision. You chase private investors, you leverage pre-sale distribution deals, you apply for tax credits. Sometimes, your crew agrees to defer their pay, betting that somehow, someday, it will all pay off. It's not about shortcuts anymore. It's about outlasting the obstacles. Outside the US, the story's a little different, and sometimes more encouraging. In places like France, the government actively funds hundreds of culturally significant films every year through the CNC. Germany, Canada, the UK, many countries have systems designed to keep independent voices alive. And because of that, they're telling richer, more diverse stories that might not have survived in a purely commercial system. In the United States, the safety net is thin. Public grants are rare. Most filmmakers are funding their dreams the hard way: credit cards, personal debt, favors, sweat equity, friends and family investments. Angel investors, once an indie filmmaker's secret weapon, are getting harder and harder to find. Too many have been burned. Too many projects never paid off. And now, investors are cautious, careful, and often out of reach unless you have undeniable proof your project can win. Yet even in that tough climate, indie filmmakers all over the world are finding ways to fight through. Look at Nollywood in Nigeria. an entire industry built on micro-budget filmmaking, producing more movies than almost anywhere else in the world. Fast, scrappy, wildly creative, Nollywood has shown that profitability is possible even on shoestring budgets when you know your audience and move quickly. Across Latin America, filmmakers are teaming up through co-productions, building alliances to fund stories that cross borders and cultures. In Southeast Asia, new indie voices are breaking through thanks to lower costs and access to digital platforms that reach global audiences. But make no mistake, market oversaturation is real. Thanks to affordable cameras, editing software, and global connectivity, anyone can make a film now. Thousands do. Every single year. Which means that even brilliant projects can struggle just to be seen. Festivals are overwhelmed. Streaming platforms are flooded. Audiences are drowning in choices. Streaming was supposed to save indie film, and in some ways, it has. It opened doors. It created paths where none existed. But it also buried a lot of good work under algorithms that favor mass-market content. Today, landing on Netflix or Hulu isn't a guarantee anyone will even find your film. And the financial rewards? Often a flat fee. No royalties. No upside if your project becomes a sleeper hit. You cash the check, and then you move on. The theatrical model, once a lifeline for indie films, is fading too. Outside of special screenings, Q&A events, or niche horror releases, most indie films don't see much time on the big screen anymore. Cinemas are dominated by major franchises. Indie films are forced to find creative ways to make those rare theatrical appearances feel like events, moments that matter. So, is independent filmmaking dying? No. But it's changing, faster, and harder than ever before. Today's indie filmmakers are no longer just artists. They're marketers. Entrepreneurs. Community builders. They're selling their stories directly to their audiences, building tribes one follower, one fan, one supporter at a time. They're mastering crowdfunding not just for financing, but for building relationships before the film is even finished. They're becoming masters of their own fate, not waiting to be discovered, but fighting to be seen. It's harder. It's messier. It's exhausting. But it's also full of raw, electric possibility. In many ways, indie filmmaking is going back to its roots, scrappy, fearless, deeply personal. And honestly, that's a beautiful thing. Because when all the noise fades, what remains are the stories that actually mean something. Stories made with love. Stories told by people who couldn't imagine doing anything else. Independent filmmaking is not dying. It's transforming into something leaner, tougher, and in many ways, more authentic. For those brave enough to keep creating, the future isn't just survival. It's evolution. Thanks for spending time with us here at Filmmaking Insights from 4D Legacy Studios. If you're on this journey too, whether you're making your first film or dreaming about your 10th, know this: you are not alone. We'll see you next time, as we keep exploring this wild, beautiful, ever-evolving world of independent cinema. Stay creative, stay brave, and keep telling your story.